Yeah.
How's it going, Russell?
Mate, how you doing? You all right,
You
mate?
okay, Russell?
Yeah, I'm not bad. What you on with?
Yes, I'm all good. Nothing much. Nothing strange or startling.
Yeah. Kent, what did you make at boxing?
Where do you want me to start?
Well, we'll start with, and let me read it out to you. Usyk CV. 10 world champions beaten in 23, 10 wins over world champions in 23 fights as a pro. Five of them undefeated. So beat five top guys. I don't think Michael Hunter were a world champion, but he was a top end guy, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, but he wanted a chance.
yeah.
So if he is, it's 11. I don't think he's been a world champion in Hunter. Uh, undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight, 350 fights, 15 losses, rematched 11 of them and won. Uh, European World Olympic gold, WBSS winner, done Joe Joyce, Bellew Chisora, Dubois, Joshua twice, Fury twice. He's ran through everybody. People are saying Fury's a GOAT. He's only beat one guy from his generation. That's Wilder, isn't it? So Fury's way down the pecking order. But I want to ask you before we start about, are they going to give Usyk his flowers now? And was Fury in shape? Because he looked like an old man, big old beard on him, shorts pulled up to his tits, and just flabby, wasn't it? And the foul mouth. He just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I just want him to piss off. You know, he's retired again
I,
today, and he can't, but he'll be back, won't he?
I was thinking about this today, and a friend of mine was asking me where does Usyk go next. I seen a post today that basically stating that Turkey Al Sheikh had a plan for him going forward, and I'm thinking if he actually had any respect for Alexander and what he's achieved in his amateur career and his professional career, he would just let him retire. Just let the guy retire and say, here, you know what? You've given us, look what you've done. You've helped us to establish Riyadh season in boxing. Go and retire. If he had that respect for him. But I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking, is there anywhere for him to go? And I'm thinking down the line, I can see them pushing for Jay Apatai and Alexander Usyk and like a catchweight fight,
To get
hoping.
to get to get rid of him.
Yes, yes, he's going to be the next guy. He Jay Apatai for me is the heir to the throne for Riyadh season. They have been pushing him so much. He's on all their cards. He's on a card here in the new year. He's going to be the next flag bearer
Let me
of
say this to
Riyadh
you, Ken.
season.
Ken, let me say this to you, right? Fury's screaming robbery in both fights, right? 24 rounds. But in my opinion, there were a 9 point swing to turn around from the first fight, and he turned it around by 1 point. Because it were an 8 point swing, wasn't it? But this is how I look at it, right? He's screaming robbery and not being treated right and all that. Fair enough. They're saying his father were banned from there this time, aren't they? They didn't want him out there. Right. Do you think that these Saudis and all them people around them, do you think that after dealing with having to deal with this lot for the last couple of years, do you know what? They've thought, we've had enough of these now. Do you think?
I seen it. I seen something. I'm a pretty deep thinker, and maybe I think too much and take too much away from nothing. But I seen a post the other day, yesterday, that Turkey Al Sheikh said that Usyk won by 4 rounds. Now that's ironic. Whenever all three judges give Usyk the fight by 4 rounds, whether you think it was close, whether you think it was wider, it's quite ironic that he's in agreement or they were in agreement with how he's seen the fight. They know that Tyson Fury doesn't have many big nights left. He hasn't got the longevity now. You know, he's had pretty stop-start career. It costs an absolute fortune, and they know that his body's aging rapidly. You know, you look at Tyson Fury's physique and body from the second Wilder fight. So they know there's no longevity there. They want
Not
to
been
keep
living the
this thing
life,
going.
Kent, has he? He's not been living the life. You can see. You've only got to look at him, haven't you? Really?
And to be honest with you, I actually think Usyk is maybe slightly not the fighter he was possibly 2 years ago. Just slightly. And that all fighters with age, there's something that starts leaving them and starts disappearing. Physically, he's possibly in the best shape of his life. I seen a lot of stuff that he was doing. He was training for a lot of power. They were going for the knockout. That accuracy he had in the last fight. He was continually landing with power shots, and I'm thinking the way he was training, they're like that accuracy with added power, it's going to be a knockout. I actually think the weight, I actually think the way the fight panned out, and you would say, well, Tyson's come in at that weight. He's come in massive, possibly the largest he's ever been. And you think, well, he's come into that fight, he's going to use that physicality. He didn't. I think that weight, I think they wanted that weight on him was basically for punch resistance because they knew the accuracy of Usyk. His accuracy in the last fight was he couldn't miss. Usyk couldn't miss, and it was only a matter of time before he would drop Fury with that accuracy. I think purposely they come in for added punch resistance. I think if you come in at that weight, the first thing I would be telling Tyson would be first round, go and lean on him, push him about, let him know you're bigger and stronger on him. Then from that, we'll start working through the rounds. And he didn't do it. He came in at that weight and he didn't use his physicality at all.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? His strength and condition and nutrition men running around saying he's had the camp of his life. And he comes in looking like that. He had that big stupid beard. You're not allowed to have them beards with some commissions, It's not fair, on other fighters because he can't judge range and that, can he? Plus it gives you that padding, doesn't it? Oh, there could have been out rubbed into that, with them. You know what they're like, don't you? You can have advantage, don't they? All mental games. And he's got his shorts pulled up to his tits. Did you see that? That's the highest
that
shorts I've ever seen pulled up since Chris Eubank Jr. used to pull his up. Eubank Sr.
Yeah, when I seen it right away, I seen that the last fight, Usyk's backhand to the body it landed every time he threw it, and I think it was kind of to protect the body attack, where Usyk just hit him under the chest every time. That. Do you know what? That was probably to his detriment because the higher up you go there, it's your rib cage, and when you're getting hit in the muscle, you can kind of ride it a wee bit. You can kind of you can withstand it. When you're getting hit in the ribs constantly, it's a lot different. It's a lot harder. And to be honest with you, you got that guy as a Greg Lockhart, who used to work with the UFC guys. I don't know. I just think why come in so heavy but not use that attributes, not use that physicality. It didn't make sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from, mate. But for me, he just didn't look in shape. And every time he clips Usyk came back with threes and fours, didn't he? He put it on him straight away. If you look, have you looked at the CompuBox? Fury were throwing more, but he were missing. Now, as regards landing, right? Fury was outlanded in 11 of the 12 rounds. So we were lucky to get 4 rounds, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I thought that what they didn't set up well. If it was me, I would be saying first minute of the round, be physical, spoil his work, don't let him work, get on top of him, push him about, start working for maybe 30 seconds in the next minute. Then the last minute of the round, you go and work. And really, Usyk has this. All great fighters have this clock where they know where to pinch, they know where to take rounds, they know intensity, and he did it. You look at the last minute of every round. Usyk was just hitting them threes and fours, stepping to the side, leading, countering, stepping away, and Fury just couldn't. He had no answer for it. But I think it's that you look at great fighters, as I said, there great fighters know how to win rounds, whether it's from the first second or the last second. They know when to win rounds. And Usyk was just his work was a lot cleaner. He actually looked like the puncher in the fight.
Yeah, he did.
He actually he looked like the puncher. And I noticed something in the first round. I noticed Fury landed a really, really good backhand. Like he really hurt Usyk.
What did
And
you think to that big stiff Daniel Dubois, big dummy, getting in ring at end, trying to make it about him? What do you think to that? Considering Usyk threw him a bone and let him have that belt. Big Top's trying to get Usyk beat, isn't
he can just about string two words together, and it just showed no respect whatsoever. He just looked so. It looked like he had been pushed into the interview,
Yeah,
and
he
he
didn't know
was
what he was
kind of
doing. He was stumbling like some old stumblebum, wasn't
he was completely tongue tied. He didn't know what to say. I just think that's a nothing fight. I don't want to see that.
he? He's already
I don't
been
want
knocked
to
out.
see that fight.
He's been knocked out and quit. So how does he even get it mix again? Him, it's crazy. He's got to beat Joe Parker, yeah.
And it's disrespectful to Joseph Parker because I've seen another post today that they're ambitious plans for Daniel Dubois moving forward in the next year. And I'm like, he needs to beat Joseph Parker. Like he really needs to beat Joseph Parker. Personally, I think that's a hard fight. I think Joseph Parker has got qualities that beats Dubois. I think Dubois has got qualities to beat Parker. So it's a really, really good fight. But that's a fight the boxing fans don't really want to see. I don't want to see that fight. I don't think it's got any commercial merit. But Usyk now is a worldwide brand. People want to see him. He's a lot of support in the UK. He's a big following in Europe. I think America is kind of banning to him a wee bit. America don't really want to watch anybody that isn't really American or Hispanic. But he has got a really, really big fan base. And you take away Usyk now and out of you take Usyk and you take Jay Apatai out of Riyadh season. Anthony Joshua's rinsed, Tyson Fury's rinsed. Who's the big stars now to carry that forward?
Well, Fury's not going to go. He's not going to leave money on the table now because there's boxing's paying Pite as well. He'll be punching for pay till he's 45. I can assure you. Right? That's just how it is. But he's going back into the old mold, isn't he? Going to have a blowout of a Christmas, put 3 or 4 stone on, and then look at it. What sort of attitude is that?
I think he's always did it, so you can't be shocked at it. I think there was a time there where he was more active with Ben Davison and he was too late. Now it's kind of finding that weight. He has a big frame. I think there's fighters that have a weight. I think Fury's weight for me would be about 18 and a half, just under 19 stone.
Ken,
I think that
tell
would be
me
a
this.
good for him.
Sorry. Tell me this, Ken. Right? Tell me this. Who's Fury's best 4 wins?
The best win of his career, obviously, was the most. I'm going to tell you the most important win of Tyson Fury's career, and people can laugh at me all they want.
John McDermott too.
No, the first gift he got.
First
That was a
what?
gift. The first gift he got was against John McDermott, the first fight. That was the most important win. If he hadn't have won that fight, he would not have been able to. No, he would not have got where he was. And I remember listening to John McDermott interviews saying that the next fight there was all sorts of stipulations. There was a glove stipulation where Fury could wear the rays, and he had to wear these title gloves that were like pillows. And there was a whole big row about it. And basically, John says, "Look, you know what? I'm going to pull out." And basically, Frank Maloney at the time basically says, "No, you're going to break up our agreement. You're going to be, Sky will sue you." And he had to go through with the fight. And obviously, Fury beat him comprehensively that time. But that first win over John McDermott was a gift. I don't think he won that fight. Then after that, they kind of brought him back a bit. They kind of took him away from that level and cooled him off, and then brought him up a level again. He went up more international class. He fought Kevin Johnson. He fought the likes of Marty Rogan, who was from Belfast, who was on a great run at the time.
Big
They were
Rogan.
talking about, yeah, yeah. Then they were talking.
Fury then, didn't he, for that fight, didn't he?
What's that? Sorry.
Did Robert McCracken train Fury for that fight, the Martin Rogan fight?
I actually think it was Peter.
Oh, right. I'm trying to think, because McCracken trained him for one fight, didn't he? One camp.
I don't think he was in the corner. I think he trained him for the fight. I don't think he was in the corner. I will stand corrected on that. I will.
Oh, I think he was, I think he had him for one fight,
He's had more trainers than JD, but they were smart with him. They brought him through, and all of a sudden, he had a couple of international fights. He had that fight with Steve Cunningham. That was very important. Cruiserweight Steve Cunningham. That would be second. Then obviously the big fight is Vladimir. That was a massive fight. But by that stage it was kind of Vladimir coming to the end. The amount of defenses Vladimir had, and Vladimir never really fought anybody that was going to stand in front of him and hit him. Fury did. And I think the person that gave Fury the confidence and the belief and the mindset, the winner's mindset and the confidence was Peter Fury. That was the key. He was the key element to winning that fight. The tactics of Peter Fury. Yes, it wasn't a great fight, but you're never going to have a great fight against Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko was beat before that twice. You're looking at Corey Sanders blitzed him, but that's not Tyson Fury's style. Tyson Fury mirrored Vladimir, and Vladimir couldn't cope with it, and that was genius. Hit, hold, grab, push, hit, hold, grab, push, counter, and that was the start of his break. That was him in the world class. Before that, he never really fought at world class before that fight. Then you look at the next big win. The next big win, obviously, is possibly the draw against Wilder in the first fight.
Ken, you sound like you're underwater.
Well, I'm definitely not.
No, to say you sounded like it were a tech issue or something. Can you hear me?
No, well, I'm on a different platform, using a different device. Yeah, I'm on a different device, so hopefully you can hear me better.
All right. Okay. So, what did you think to Bricktop and coming out? Because there's a lot of people in the media, right? And I know I always go on about this, but a lot of them that were tipping Fury, I know what they really think because I get to know from other people, and so I always say this to my mate who knows quite a few people in media. I say this: well, why do they come out and say that? Then he says, well, they've got to bump into Furies at weigh-ins and pressers and ringside at shows. So they're just backing Fury. But all them that were deep down, they all really knew Usyk were going to win, because how can you turn a 9-point deficit into a win on points? Where are you going to pull it? What are you going to change? If you're even heavier, it would just target practice, wasn't it, for Usyk? It would even easier, wasn't it?
I think you have to really look at it from their point of view, and I'm not going to be too judgmental, but the Furies aren't the type of people that really can take any criticism or constructive criticism and look at it, objectively and constructively. They're not that type of people. So you can understand why people agree with them. They agree with them because it makes things a bit easier for them. It gets them that access. And I don't really have a problem with that, because there's, if you want to make things as easy in life for yourself as possible, but with that crowd, you want to make it as easy as you can, especially, John can't take any everything that John is negative. You can't take anything constructively or positively. So, of course, they're not going to disagree with it. I would hate to be in that situation where you would have to basically agree with everything that they said, but you can see why. But Frank Warren, I look at Frank Warren, and he's just one of them people. He just can't accept anything
Unless
outside
he
of
goes
his
his
remit.
way, he's not bothered holding
Yeah,
dead, is he?
he can't accept it. You would think
Killing him, doesn't it?
a
Kills him.
man, you would think a man with who from his background and come through the waters that he has and come through. Like, be honest, Frank has always been his own man. I always respected that. How he just constantly kept reinventing the brand and keeping himself. He left Sky. He went to Box Nation. How that worked, I don't know. Now he's with TNT. Now he's going to DAZN. He always finds a way, but
He
he
always finds a way,
contacts.
but he always falls out with people wherever he goes. They always see.
Yeah,
He puts a good show on to start with, draws them in, and then he feeds them shite. That's why Sky won't give him a deal. And that's what happens. Your Mick Hennessy's, your Bricktops, your Dennis Hobsons. They promise everything, give you lip service, and then once they get the feet under the table, they go back on the words. And that's why they don't get no longevity with TV companies.
and that's business people for you. That's people in business. But you think about it, he just can't accept. Yes, the better man won on the night, the better guy who's more talented and more technical. If it doesn't go his way, he can't accept it, and he just looks. I would say and to be fair with Eddie Hearn actually can take it better than him. He can actually take defeat better than him. He can be more humble with it, where Frank just can't accept it at all.
Yeah.
It kills him. It kills him to admit defeat. He's too
Listen,
proud.
this is how I look at it, right? He's blagged it Bricktop, hasn't he? Right? His position where he's at now with them Saudis, but he keeps going on about how Carl Froch's hammered the regime and all that, and what's he doing out there? Well, we all remember what Bricktop had to say about Saudi Arabia, didn't we, a few years ago when he couldn't get in there, when Eddie got there first. He was brutal on the regime, wasn't he? And about Stubble. But once it suited him, he were in bed with them all, wasn't he? Stubble and lot. And Saudis, but don't forget, he had his MP mate asking questions in House of Commons about StubHub, didn't he, Bricktop? He even admitted it in his column.
The thing that annoys me the worst is the whole DAZN thing. Who's going to watch an app? Nobody watches it. Who's on it? Now he's signed a deal with DAZN. What's going on? If you'd have said to me 2 years, if you had a crystal ball and you told me 2 years ago that all this was going to happen, I would laugh at you. I would say, you're talking absolute nonsense here. That this is just you're dreaming, mate. You're absolutely dreaming. But it's just went so full circle. It's unbelievable. I kind of pinch myself some days and just think, is this all actually real? Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren being best mates, promoting shows together. We'll have no choice. And now Frank Warren and Queensbury being in DAZN. It's just absolutely absurd. It really is. I can't believe it sometimes. It's mad. It isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
And last week, you had Dennis McCann, failing a drugs test. They don't even say failing a drugs test now. It's adverse findings. What the fuck is adverse findings? Did he fail the test or not? He failed the test. They can't even say it now.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? Bricktop, in my opinion, needs to just come out and say, look, Fury got beat. Let's move on from it. But he can't do that because he's got to side with them. And that's the problem with these people. They're all shit scared because they're all looking after their own ends. They're not telling the truth to the fans. You've seen the CompuBox statistics. You've seen the 48 press guys, 46 of them. 46. Had it for Usyk. Come on. These are top high-end guys like Dan Rayfield, Teddy Atlas, people like that. Bricktop came out and he said he was sat next to Oscar De La Hoya, and Oscar said, yeah, Tyson won. I've just seen an interview with Oscar De La Hoya where he's saying that Tyson Fury didn't do enough and Usyk bladdered him. So why is Bricktop inventing shit?
Do you know what, Russell? Oscar De La Hoya could tell me it's Christmas in 2 days, and I would take what he would say with a pinch of salt. Oscar with his, chemically enhanced uh, habits. I would take what Oscar De La Hoya would say at ringside with a pinch of salt. Do you know what? Oscar De La Hoya would be the last person I would be asking,
What amount
who
of
did you
bugle
think
he
won
puts
that
up
fight?
his Uta? I mean, did you see him? He turned up with two tarts, didn't he? Did you see him? Going about with them two tarts with blown up lips. You see him? Ridiculous. Like they were going back to
Ah,
the hotel for a session.
I'm
Hey,
thinking I'm thinking, is it actually safe for Oscar De La Hoya to be in Saudi?
yeah, unbelievable.
With the laws over there, but he just Frank Warren just cannot accept any responsibility. He can't accept anything for his fighters that
No, no, can he bring
isn't
it on?
in his mindset. He can't. He's too proud. He is just too proud.
Yeah, we know, don't we, Ken? We know. Uh, okay, Joshua Fury. Does anybody really care about that now? Because they're just all sex leftovers, aren't they?
Who cares?
I mean, if Fury
Who
won,
cares?
we're going to put Joshua in with Fury for all belts. How could Joshua have got that fight when he's coming off a loss?
Nobody would want to see it. Nobody would want to see it. Nobody. The
Oh,
the the Joshua project is over. Russell file has been deleted.
the
It's over.
Fury one's over. I mean, only thing that's going to keep Fury going now is going to have to do a Dave Allen. They're just going to have to keep entertaining everybody on social media just to stay mix.
The way back, the only way back for Dubois is, or sorry, Fury.
Oh,
The only way back for Tyson Fury is Usyk and Jay Apatai super fight,
yeah,
and Tyson Fury versus Daniel Dubois. If he beats Daniel Dubois, he could get himself back into a big fight. That's the only way back. Outside of that, there's no way back. There's no roadmap. That's the only roadmap that signals to a really, really big fight. Or does Jay Apatai step up to heavyweight and fight either Fury or Usyk at heavyweight, or or this is a curveball I'm going to hit you with here. Do they just throw Moses Itauma straight in now?
Well, they're going to try and
Do
beat
they?
Mike Tyson's record because it's free PR for a minute. If they can get him in, if they can get a belt freed up, which is not going to be able to now because Usyk's got them all, hasn't he? They'll try and get a belt freed up, I think, unless they put him in with Dubois before then.
I'm thinking what they're looking at is they could be looking at possibly if Joseph Parker beats Dubois, Moses Itauma will fight Joseph Parker. Then it'll be Dubois will fight obviously the winner of Itauma and Parker. But down the line, I can see him being in less than a year away. Like they are not wasting any time with him whatsoever. He is really, really dangerous.
Well, look at it
His
like
hands.
this, right? Look at it like this. Let's hope Moses Itoma's career is good like Usyk. Because Usyk's had 23 fights, he's got 10 wins over champions. So that means he's been and five undefeated champions as well. But that means that Usyk's not really wasted camps fighting, a journeyman and that. He's gone right in at a higher level because he was a high level amateur. You see where I'm coming from? So let's hope Moses Itauma is going to go like Usyk and take on challengers straight away, do you know?
It's really good that because I've said this in the channel for a number of years now. Elite fighters, Olympic level fighters, should be challenging for a world title within their first three fights. There's
Well,
no
look at
reason why they shouldn't.
Lomachenko. He was doing that, wasn't he, in his first couple of fights, wasn't he?
And it's not spectacular. It's not out of the ordinary. It's what you would expect of an elite world level, Olympic level fighter. And if you're spending, like Terry will talk about this, wear and tear, if you're just spending 2 and 3 month camps of hard sparring, hard graft to fight a 10 and 12 guy or a 20 and 10 guy, that's miles on the clock that you could have at the end of your career if you just jump straight in at that level. I personally think right now Moses Itauma is ready for outside possibly of Usyk. I would put him in with any heavyweight. Honestly, I would put him in with anyone right now apart from Alexander Usyk, and that's a big call. His hand speed, his accuracy is scary. Like his fine motor skills of landing them power punches so precisely is frightening. I would put him in right now. I would put him in with the winner of Parker and Dubois. I think he would draw more than Dubois. I think he's got more personality. I think he's got more likability. I think he's more exciting as a puncher. Yes, Dubois is a puncher, but there's something about it, Tama. It's just really exciting.
Plus, he's a southpaw.
His hands, he's a monster.
Hey, do you
Really
remember
is. He is
Fury
so,
turning southpaw in round 12?
he done it 3 times in the fight, Russell,
Yeah,
and
but he
every
did it in
time
round
he
12.
get hurt. He get hurt, and Shane. I listened to Sky. I thought Shane was excellent on commentary, like excellent. And he said that when you're and this is true, if you're not a natural southpaw and you're going southpaw against the best southpaw in the world, you're going to get hit. You're going to
You know
get
why he
clipped.
did that? Because every time he tried to reset his feet, Usyk hit him, and then he tried to do something, then hit him again. It breaks his concentration, and I think he did that because he does that a lot in gym. And I think he did it not thinking Usyk's that brilliant southpaw. I think he did it out of maybe frustration and because he got confused because he was like a wasp all night. He kept picking and poking. He's not a massive puncher, Usyk, but he's constantly on you all the time and he's making you work.
He's what I would call an accurate puncher. The accuracy that he has in the first shot, he will have that power and accuracy in round 10, 11, 12. And that's really, really hard to withstand. That's really hard to cope with in a fight. There's guys there that punchers You look at big punchers and throughout time, they're very fast twitch fighters. So early on, they're at their most dangerous. Jared McClennan early on, Julian Jackson early on, Tommy Hearns early on punchers, really, really fast twitch fighters who early on, if they hit you, you're gone. Where Usyk isn't that fast twitch puncher. He's a 70% power guy. He'll be landing at 70% of his max power in round 10, 11, 12. That's really, really hard. And when you're being hit that hard late on, it feels like you're being hit by a fast twitch fighter. It's really, really hard to deal with it. For me, the switch hitting was a form of showboating without showboating.
All right, Kent, let me ask you something now, right? Do you think that cruiserweight stepping up to heavyweight against these big guys are now showing that you don't need to be 20 stone, 19 stone to do well? 16 stone is about a good weight. Look at Moses Itauma, right? What weight were he?
It was. I don't think. I think it was his a career heaviest,
At what?
but I think
What
he
did it weigh
was
him?
on. There's. I think he was 17. I don't
Well,
think he
all
was
right
even
then,
17.
16, 17, fair enough. Usyk 16, Muhammad Ali were just about under that weight, wasn't he? Mike Tyson were 15 stone 10. And speed kills, doesn't it? And you put Mike Tyson in with big guys, it'd be too fast for them. You don't have to have the biggest punch. People think I'll get to 20 stone and I'll have a massive punch, but you can't get your shots off at that weight, can you?
I remember watching Lennox Lewis's
2 minutes left,
last
Ken.
fight.
Go on, what?
Lennox Lewis's last fight against Vitali. He was massively overweight in that fight. He looked slow, ponderous. He was really lucky to win that fight. So you're right. You look at the physique and you look how strong Evander Holyfield was, and them two fights against Mike Tyson. He wasn't 18, 19 stone. So I agree with you. I don't think the bulk, the mass monsters are going to dominate the division. I think Jay Apatai will be the next guy.
Usyk type
In,
of guy, the next Usyk type, yeah?
yeah, it's going to be Jay Apatai and Moses Itauma dominating the heavyweight division next.
Okay, well, I'll leave you on this one, Ken. Was Dave Allen robbed, yes or no?
Absolutely disgraceful.
Do you know this morning when I drove by Tib Shelf Services at M1, there's a big billboard, a big long width, one of them width one billboards, not a high one, a width one. A Johnny Bosch, Elmer Fudd's dad, Johnny Fisher Sr., in a pair of underpants laid on a settee with some big sponsor writing underneath. So
What the
that's just
fuck?
about them all over in it. But Dave Allen were robbed in my eyes, and we'll cover that tomorrow if you want, or over Christmas, yeah?
Definitely.
Brilliant. Okay, have a great evening, Kent.
All the best, bro.
Thanks for
Bye
coming
bye.
on. Merry Christmas to you and your family and your mum, yeah?
Top class, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Oh,
Peace out.
Kent. Nice top as well. What is it? Bayern Munich.
It's Germany, Italian 90
Germany.
retro.
Yeah, Lothar Matthäus.
Klinsman.
Go on, Kent. Go on, peace out. Cheers, mate.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.